Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. I will apologize immediately for the light that will be going in and out as I film. I got my double doors there, and it is dark and dreary and rainy and non-conducive to a photogenic filming process. But that being said, today we are reviewing the much anticipated, the much hyped, the much sold out, the much website crash Jeffree Star Blue Blood collection. Now, do let me start this off by saying, just putting it out there, I will never be purchasing from the Jeffree Star site again. Any of you guys were there with me on Snapchat, you would be aware that I was literally on that site for like 35 minutes. It didn't go anywhere. Eventually it timed out and was like, sorry, this application is unavailable. And a good friend of mine, she saw my Snapchat. She was like, go over to another site where stuff is sold. And I was like, oh yeah, Beautylish and morphine crap. So I did go on to Beautylish, where the palette singularly was sold out, but they did have the palette and this lip thing bundle, which was fine because I was gonna get that too anyway. And they did have two of the liquid frosts. They did not have the one in the shade Prostitute, which I did order from Morphe, which I have waited. I've waited patiently to arrive. It is not here. So we're just gonna be having this party without it, but from now on, I'm going to be ordering from Beautylish, and props to them. In the flurry of me desperately trying to get my hands on the items, I typed in my email wrong. You guys also would have seen on Snapchat where I was like, all right, I need that confirmation email, which I never got. I Snapchatted, and then my sister-in-law was like, maybe you should save that order number. So I called Beautylish with the order number, and they were absolutely wonderful, beautiful, amazing customer service. We'll be shopping there. Their site did not crash. So in the midst of all that, obviously, yeah, girl got the Blue Blood eyeshadow palette, which I'm wearing on my peepers today. You would have seen on Instagram and on Snapchat, I think. I had a completely different look when I was just messing around and playing with it. The bad boy, open it up and be looking like this. This is gonna run you $52. Same price, same size, same amount of shadows as the Blood Sugar, with a love this whole like jewelry box coffin Blue Blood royalty thing going on. I'm very into that. And he also released 5 new shades of his liquid frosts, the 2/3 that I got. This one is in Ice Cream Bling, and this one is inexpensive. I did get Prostitute, and then they had Blue Balls and Michigan Ice, which are ones that I knew for like $25. I'm like, do you really need a deep blue highlight, Soraya? The answer is no. I honestly don't need these two highlighters either, but you know. He also released a bunch of lip scrubs, which I didn't get any of just because I had no interest in it. And he did release the Jeffree Star. This is the, I don't even know. Is it the Blue Blood? Yeah, Blue Blooded right there. This is the mini liquid lipstick bundle. I'm pretty sure he has 3 other of these. He's got 2 nude ones and one that he did for Pride, which is a whole rainbow. This one is obviously very blue themed. This is also $52. Alright, let's just address the components in here and have me talk about them, my thoughts, my opinions. Let's start off with the easiest items. These are the liquid frosts. Now this is my first time purchasing a liquid frost of his. You open the thing, you can close it, you do that, and then you pump it in, and then you undo it. Now I will say right off the bat, I absolutely despise the applicator. Like, I feel like for a liquid highlighter, at least for me, maybe I'm just, you know, annoying and anal, I much prefer an applicator that is like a pump, like the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfectors, or a like dropper, like the Cover FX Custom Enhancer drops. I mean, here we go. This is what she looks like. It's a beautiful, just like kind of peachy whatever with like gold blue reflex. Very pretty, definitely something up my alley, but while I was using this, so like I'd start off and I'm just like, I didn't like it mixed in with my foundation first off. I did not find that it really gave me any actual dewy or luminosity. Well, what it gave me was glitter everywhere. There is that. But didn't really give me any dewiness or luminosity. I find that it kind of broke up my foundation. Did not play well with the foundations that I tried it with. It just didn't do much mixed in. So I was like, all right, let's try it, you know, topped along them cheekbones and then whatever. I don't know if it's just this formula or what, but I would do it here, and when I go to blend it out with like a beauty sponge, which is how I normally blend out liquid highlighters on my face, it just blended out into glitter. And like, that's fine if you like glitter, but if I'm going to use a glitter highlighter, I'm going to use a powder one, his Supreme Frost, the Ciate London Glow 2 highlighters, the Kat Von D Metal Crush. I mean, I'm not going to go through the struggle of a liquid. And then sort of, I guess, the final nail in the coffin for these, for me, is the way that these applicators work. So you pump it down, you do the thing, right? And I started off and I just kind of tried to dab it, but when you do the pump, I mean, pump it some more, it doesn't really get the product. And then when I like went to like push the button, it literally spat it into my eye. Here's a swatch of Expensive, which is just kind of a deeper version of the same gold glittery whatever reflex. They're not my favorite. I do like liquid, and there's glitter everywhere. I like me some liquid highlighters, but between the formula and the packaging components and the distribution thingy, these were just more disappointing than they were amazing to me. Then the next component is the liquid lipstick whatever, which, quite frankly, I honestly feel is a bit, what's the word? I mean, if he cut down on the packaging and the presentation of these, we could buy them for a lot cheaper than $52. I mean, the main aspect of this is that presentation box going on. It is absolutely stunning, and in my personal opinion, so in this you get 8 different shades, only 2 of which are new. So if you have any of these, but you want the 2 new shades, you gotta get the whole thing. I honestly think it would have been better for him to have just taken the 2 shades and released them as singles. I mean, for someone like me who's like, yeah, this is cool, I wanted a bunch of these like cult favorite colors anyway, like Jawbreaker, Blue Velvet, Abused, you know, Drug Lord over here, which you can use as an eyeliner, and a mixing medium, you know, like I said, for someone like me who's like, yeah, all the blue, where I feel like for other people it would be like, I feel like, or maybe you could have just made like a duo. I don't know, that's just me. That's just me trying to be like, well, maybe we need to tone down the whole consumerism thing going on, but Jeffree Star, he go big or he go home. The 2 new limited edition shades, whatever, this one is in Titanic, which is a very, I'm not a huge fan of this, I will admit, just because it's so like thick and chunky. I understand that metallic formulas are hard to formulate, especially when you're doing a color that's hard to formulate. It's just, I did not find that it looked anything wonderful on my lips. It was just a little bit crepey and whatever. Then the other one is Ice Tray, which this one I do really, really like. This one is just right up my, it's looking really patchy because I swatched it right where I had that makeup remover wipe. Let me do it over here for you guys. There we go. That's a lot better. But that's that shade, kind of like a really pretty periwinkle blue purple crossover. Might as well swatch them all for you. I will get them along my arm and then I will show you. Here we go with the lipstick swatches. This one here is Diamond, which is a repeat from his Star Family collection. This one here is Blue Velvet. Let's see here. Then we've got Jawbreaker, which is another like super popular, really favorite of his. And then we've got Drug Lord right here, which is, I did use that in my waterline today. And then last but not least, we have Medusa and Abused. It's not a bad item. I just definitely feel like it's a non-necessity. I think it would have been better if he had just released these two, even in like a little duo like this, or release them as full-size singles rather than just kind of putting them together with a bunch of other shades. I feel like people who, you know, want to just dip their toes into blue, you know, just go for one of the ones that you think would work for you, rather than going for a whole shebang bang and getting, you know, 8 little minis that you may or may not end up using. And then last but not least, the time has come to discuss the palette. Y'all, I have been a blue eyeshadow wearer probably for as long as I've been doing makeup. For the longest time, I'm just like, I'm gonna take blue eyeshadow and slide that all over my eyes. I absolutely love the componentry to this palette. I love the fact that you get little different impressions, even though a part of me is like, I love it, but I kind of hate it because I'm very anal about wearing away impressions, or that may just be me. What I'm wearing today is super simple. I just took the Entitled shimmer shade and I just did that all up and around here, and then I did the shade Flourishing out in there like this and under here, and then I took Cullion, I think that's how you say it. It's a diamond type or a diamond cut. But the white shimmery shade, I took that and I just tapped it all over my lid, and then that's what I've got on my inner corner. But let us just swatch this thing and then we'll talky about how I feel. So starting off here with Cullion, which I am honestly super happy about. I was hoping that we have a matte white in the blood sugar one. I was hoping we'd have a, you know, shade like this, but we didn't. Then Minty right here, and then Crystal Flesh. Show you guys right here. And I will say right off the bat, I am a bit biased. Since Blood Sugar, Jeffree Star has one of my favorite eyeshadow formulas. Then we have I'm Cold right here, Untouchable and Priceless. Now I do wish, one thing that I do wish that he had done, or you know what had happened, is I wish that some of these peachy shades had been a bit punchier, a bit more like deeper and maybe more orange, or just not as soft and pastel-y. Just because I think that would have been really nice to really play up the contrast between those softer peaches and pinks if they just had a little bit deeper saturation. Speaking of saturation, then we have Power right here, Blue Blood, which is one of my favorite shades in the palette. Then we have Deceased, which is another really phenomenal shade going on right here. Then we've got Ice Tray right here, which is one of the softest, smoothing, feeling shimmers. Another one of my favorite shades in the palette, Blue Monday. This is just so bright, so vivid. Then another favorite shade is Flourishing. We have these ones right here. Last row, we've got Wealthy, which is honestly the shade I could have lived without. It's just, you know, setting whatever shade. Celebrity Skin, which is really beautiful. Entitled, which I will say, when you are using Entitled, do proceed with caution because you are going to get you some fallouty. It's really nice and pigmented, but if you're not careful, you're going to get that glitter all up on your cheekies, which is what I did the first time I used it. And then I like went to brush it away with a powder brush and I had, you know, minty, bluey, greeny flecks going across my cheeks. Then the last three, Ocean Ice, which he did kind of address this, but this one you do gotta be really careful. Can you see the chunky chunks? Pigmented, yes. I just barely dipped my finger in there, but she chunky. Then cremated, two of my other favorites because I love colors that I can use to deepen out a look that aren't traditional black. And then Undertaker, which like I said is another one of my favorites, but is probably the roughest feeling out of all the mattes. I'm gonna do this one up here just so you all can like it's so weird. Like it starts out so chunky and then when you go to like swatch it, it's like the chunks then smooth out. Like I figure it's gonna be glitter, but then it just like smooths into butter. I don't know. It's weird and it's beautiful. And then we have these two right there. And if we're discussing like pigmentation and everything like that, this is, I used a makeup remover wipe and you can still see the undertone of that like crazy blue shade on my finger. Now here we have the colors, a beautiful array spectrum of peachy, pink, mint to blue to green, everything. Just to let y'all know, staining is a thing. Would highly recommend using a concealer or a primer. Do not put these things on your eyes as is, otherwise you're going to be walking around looking like you've been punched. Alright, now let's talk about the palette on a whole. First things first, I feel like I need to be 100% transparent with you all because I don't want to recommend something that y'all get and then it just sits there for very obvious reasons. This palette compared to the Blood Sugar palette, if y'all are like trying to decide on a restock which one you should get, personally, I would recommend the Blood Sugar over the Blue Blood simply because for very obvious reasons, I find that the Blood Sugar is a much more wearable, easy to use palette, whereas this one, taken into the color theory and everything, I feel like it's just a bit more complicated given the shades and tones that you have, as well as just the fact that it's blue. Now that being said, if you want to be extra AF and you're gonna be rocking on whatever, yes, from a quality standpoint, this is amazing. There are so many shades that swatches literally do not do justice because once again, I said I'm a little bit biased. His formulas, especially his mattes. I love his shimmers, but his mattes, they practically melt into the skin of your eyelid. And then you go to get another one and it just melts into that one. It blends out by itself. If he were to ever come out with any shade range of an all matte palette, I'd be down. The one thing that I do have to say that made me very happy about this palette, I do feel like being on YouTube has sort of made me kind of get into a makeup rut. Whereas if you were to look at some of my past, like years ago videos, the makeup would not have been executed as well. I have learned some skills, but I feel like the looks that I did were much more daring and adventurous and a little bit crazy. And this palette really, for me, reignited that desire of much more avant-garde and non-traditional and crazy looks and really took me back to my roots of, loving blue eyeshadow with bright pink blush and really not caring what people thought about what my makeup looked like or what colors I was wearing because I felt fabulous. And so from that standpoint, this palette just does something for me, for that sense. But as I said, from a quality standpoint, phenomenal, top notch. One of the best formulas, and if I'm gonna be real honest with you all, I feel like Jeffree Star has become the new Kat Von D. He has usurped her because she used to be the one who came out with the crazy avant-garde. She was the one who was always pushing the envelope of the makeup industry, and now she's just pushing herself in deeper into the grave. And Jeffree is the one who is pushing the makeup expectations, creating phenomenal formulas from everything he releases, and this, I just love it. I love everything about this. It is beautiful, it is aesthetically pleasing, the quality, the way that these things blend, just, it does something for me, and the fact that the shimmers work well together. You can put a matte over a shimmer. You can put a shimmer over a matte. I love me some formulas that play well together. Like any palette that I review, if this is something, a color story that speaks to you, because I mean, just because it's good doesn't mean it's something we need to get if you look at it and you're like, well, I'm never going to wear those. Everything is currently sold out. If there are any kind of links that I can provide you from his site, from Beautylish, from Morphe, I will do so down below. Highly, highly recommend this palette. It is a beautiful, well thought out, gorgeously formulated, just piece of artistry. These I would 110% pass on, just because, like I said, the formula wasn't really my thing. The componentry of it weren't really my thing. When it comes to the liquid lipsticks, I mean, I love his formulas, except for the Titanic one. This one I did not like. This one was chunky and nasty. Just make the decision for yourself if you would rather invest in one or two blue colors, because most of these are permanent, or if you do see yourself getting more use out of more of a sampler, which is, I think, why these are so popular, because you are able to try out a wide spectrum of colors and formulas and finishes, rather than just, you know, biting the bullet on a full one that you're probably never gonna go through. But that is it for that review. I do hope that it came out okay. I am feeling a little bit kind of meh. Once again, on Snapchat and everything, y'all would have seen my moodiness. The weather does not help. I hope everything came across okay. Definitely let me know your guys' opinions. I know a bunch of you ordered a bunch of this stuff. We're really excited to get it. Let me know what you think about the products. If you love them, you hate them, all that jazz. You're planning on getting it. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Mwah!